Before we dive into this incredible story, please subscribe to K9 Miracle Stories. Let's get started. If a dog barks at a kind face, maybe the face isn't that kind after all. What if a loyal K9's relentless growl uncovers a hidden nightmare in the one place kids should feel safe? This is the shocking tale of Axel, the dog who wouldn't stop barking, and the dark secrets he exposed. The bell rang at Meadow Ridge Elementary like any other Thursday morning. Parents waved goodbye. Backpacks bounced down tile hallways. The smell of syrupy breakfast bars still lingered in the cafeteria. Everything felt normal, except one thing. Axel, the school's newly assigned K9 unit, wouldn't stop barking. The moment his paws crossed the threshold of the nurse's office, he froze. Then he exploded in a frenzy. He barked like he was trying to tear a hole through the air itself. He fixated on the woman inside, Nurse Brianna Hale. She was the soft-spoken school nurse, known for her cozy cardigans and peppermint candy bowl. At first, people laughed nervously. He probably smelled the antiseptic, someone said. Or maybe Brianna's got a beef jerky sandwich in her desk, joked Mr. Carson, the gym teacher. But Officer Tyler Greer, the young K9 handler assigned to Axel, didn't laugh. He'd seen this behavior once before. Axel had uncovered a predator posing as a substitute teacher in another district. It wasn't about smells or jerky. It was about secrets. And Axel never barked without a reason. Subscribe to K9 Miracle Stories for more heroic tales. Tyler gave a subtle tug on the leash. Easy, bud. Axel didn't budge. His entire body stayed rigid. His eyes locked on the nurse's every move. The barking intensified when Brianna stepped forward. She smiled awkwardly. "It's okay, officer," she said. "Maybe your dog doesn't like peppermint." But her voice had a quiver to it. The kind of quiver Tyler had been trained to notice. By lunch, the story spread through the teacher's lounge. Axel had a moment. Maybe he's still adjusting. Nurse Brianna? Come on. She's practically a grandma to these kids. But Tyler wasn't convinced. He reviewed hallway footage from earlier that week. He wasn't sure what he was looking for, until he noticed a pattern. Several kids from lower grades had been sent to the nurse's office for stomach aches, headaches, or just needing a nap. Only the visits always happened during odd times, right before recess or right after dismissal. And one girl in particular kept showing up. Her name was Addie Monroe. She was 7 years old, bright, curious, a fan of unicorn stickers and purple shoelaces. But the last 2 times she visited the nurse, she didn't return to class. No official parent pickup was logged. The next morning, Axel did it again. The moment he passed the nurse's office, he growled deep in his chest. His fur bristled. He clawed at the tile floor, refusing to move. Tyler waited until Brianna stepped out. She had a warm smile and a fresh apple in hand. "Morning, Officer Greer. Need a band-aid for the big boy here?" Axel lunged, not to attack, but to block the hallway between Brianna and the direction of the first-grade classrooms. Tyler tightened the leash, heart racing. That afternoon, Addie came back to the office again, this time escorted by Brianna herself. Addie looked pale, walking slowly like her legs were tired. She didn't speak, didn't make eye contact. She flinched when Brianna touched her shoulder. Subscribe to K9 Miracle Stories for the full journey. That night, Tyler made a decision. He sent an anonymous tip to the school board. Unusual K9 alert behavior towards school nurse. Recommend external review. And while the red tape wound its usual slow dance, Tyler turned to the one source who might break the case wide open. The kids. He visited Addie's classroom the next morning. Under the pretense of K9 safety and animal behavior training, Axel performed basic commands. He played dead. He even let the children pet his fur. Everyone laughed, except Addie. She stayed in the back, knees curled up on her seat, eyes darting to the hallway. When Tyler brought Axel closer, the dog did something he hadn't expected. He sat quietly in front of Addie. He let out a soft whimper. Not a bark, not a growl. A whimper. Tyler knelt. "Hey, Addie, do you like dogs?" She didn't answer right away. Then she whispered, "This one is special." He smiled. "Yeah, I think he knows things. Would you believe me if I told you? He knows when someone's hurting." Addie blinked. Her lips trembled. "Did someone hurt you?" She didn't nod, didn't shake her head. Instead, she reached into her pencil pouch. She pulled out a crumpled sticky note. With the word, "Please look inside the green cabinet. If you're moved by brave animals like Axel, who speak when no one else dares, please subscribe to K9 Miracle Stories. Your support helps us share true stories of loyalty, courage, and the bond between animals and the people they protect." That afternoon, Tyler waited until the nurse stepped out to take a call. He approached the green cabinet in the nurse's room. It wasn't locked. Inside were rows of labeled medicine bottles. But one shelf had unmarked vials, small syringes with numbers scribbled in red ink. Behind the vials was a folded notebook, labeled only Trials Level 13. His pulse spiked. He took photos, closed the cabinet, acted normal until Monday morning, when FBI agents showed up in black jackets. And Axel barked one last time, not in warning, but in triumph. By the time the FBI entered Meadow Ridge Elementary, word had already spread like wildfire. Most people assumed it was a misunderstanding, maybe a security drill or a suspected threat. But behind the closed doors of the school nurse's office, the truth was slowly being unwrapped, layer by layer. Axel, ever calm now, sat obediently beside Officer Tyler Greer. His handler waited in silence outside the nurse's room. Inside, 2 federal agents examined the green cabinet. One of them, Agent Serena Mahoney, flipped through the small notebook. Her gloved fingers moved slowly as her brow furrowed. Level 13. Different dosages, different days, and initials next to each name, she murmured. The cabinet didn't just contain illegal sedatives. It held records, patterns, a blueprint of something that went far beyond school healthcare. Back in the main office, Principal Durbin tried to act unfazed, though he paced the floor like a man walking across thin ice. "This has to be a mistake," he insisted. Tyler frowned. "With all due respect, sir, Axel doesn't bark at people unless he senses something dangerous. We've trained him with real cases." Durbin's jaw twitched. "We'll cooperate. I just hope we're not ruining an innocent woman's life over a barking dog and a sticky note." That same afternoon, Brianna Hale was escorted from school property for questioning. She didn't resist. She didn't cry. She just looked at Tyler as they passed and said calmly, "You've made a mistake." But Tyler saw something else in her eyes. Not anger, not fear. Something colder. Something rehearsed. And yet, the faculty still doubted the dog. Meanwhile, Addie Monroe was back home. She hadn't spoken much since handing over the sticky note. Her mother, Tracy Monroe, a single parent juggling 2 jobs, had always assumed Addie was just shy, a quiet girl who didn't make waves. Now she sat curled up on the couch, her favorite unicorn blanket pulled to her chin, Axel lying protectively at her feet. "Did she ever tell you about anything unusual at school?" Tyler asked gently. Tracy shook her head. "Just that Nurse Hale was kind. She always let Addie rest when she had headaches." Addie's voice came quietly. "She said the medicine would help me stay calm so I wouldn't cry in class." Tracy's face went pale. "What medicine, baby?" Addie didn't respond. Tyler leaned forward. "Did she give you something that made you sleepy?" A tear slid down Addie's cheek. I don't remember what happened after. The agents later confirmed the unmarked vials contained benzodiazepines. They were anti-anxiety sedatives with memory suppression effects. They were being administered off-record to at least 6 children. Each one had visited the nurse's office during episodes of anxiety or emotional distress. But instead of referring them for counseling or calling home, Nurse Hale had taken it upon herself to quiet them down in her own way. The notebook also included a section labeled Observations, Parental Absence as Trigger, with notes on which students had single parents, unstable home life, or history of acting out. She had targeted the most vulnerable. By Wednesday, FBI forensic teams uncovered a second flash drive. It was hidden inside the false bottom of a drawer. On it were voice memos, each titled by date and student initials. She responded well to a 5-dose. More irritable today. Will increase to 1 milligram tomorrow. Mother unaware. Trust level stable. The memos weren't just creepy. They were methodical. It wasn't enough to charge her yet. Not fully. But they had probable cause to hold her. And then something broke the case. Another student, Noah Jenkins, age 8, had been transferred from another school. He was known to have mild autism. His teacher, Miss Abernathy, said he had become strangely docile over the last month, sleeping in class, losing his appetite, not reacting to social cues like he used to. When his parents were brought in, his mother burst into tears. She said it was stress, that it was normal. She gave us pamphlets about anxiety and said not to worry. Agent Mahoney gently asked, "Did Nurse Hale ever give Noah medication?" She said she gave him vitamins in a smoothie. Tyler spoke up. "May we ask if Noah drew anything recently?" The mom returned the next day with a folded piece of paper from Noah's backpack. The drawing was childlike and unsettling. It showed a cartoonish version of Nurse Hale standing beside a bed. She held a syringe with red liquid. Lying on the bed was a small boy with X marks over his eyes. Above the nurse, in shaky crayon writing, it read, "This is my dream almost every day." The case cracked wide open. By Friday, Brianna Hale was officially arrested on charges of unauthorized drug administration to minors, child endangerment, and intentional suppression of behavior through chemical intervention. It wasn't just illegal, it was unconscionable. Axel, once just the new dog, was now being hailed a hero. Students asked for stickers with his face. A local news crew came by to film a short piece called "The Dog Who Barked for the Silenced." But Tyler didn't smile for cameras. He stood near the playground, watching Addie hold Axel's paw like it was a lifeline. He kept thinking about the sticky note. Why had she written it at all? Why trust a dog and a stranger? Addie answered that question herself the next day. She handed Tyler a note written in purple marker. "Because Axel didn't need me to speak. He already knew." Subscribe to K9 Miracle Stories for more heroic tales. It had been 4 days since Brianna Hale was escorted out of Meadow Ridge Elementary in handcuffs. Her mug shot made the local news. The district sent out an apologetic email to parents. It was filled with vague phrases like unexpected violation of student trust and internal procedural review. But for Officer Tyler Greer, the case didn't feel finished. Neither did it for Axel. He had gone from barking at the nurse to pacing around the now vacant nurse's office door, his tail low, ears back, growling softly every time they passed. That behavior had stopped when Hale was removed, but now it had returned, and this time it was aimed at someone else. On Monday morning, a substitute nurse named April Sullivan had been assigned to cover the school clinic temporarily. She was gentle older, with reading glasses and a tired smile. No red flags, clean background. Still, when Axel crossed the main hallway during his routine check, he froze again. Not as aggressive as before. No barking or lunging, but a deep, steady growl rose from his throat when he caught a scent at the door. April looked up and chuckled. Is that because I smell like my old golden retriever? I promise I don't bite. Tyler forced a smile. He's usually good with strangers. Might just be nerves. But it wasn't nerves. It was instinct. Later that day, Principal Durbin called Tyler into his office. I'm going to need Axel to stay off campus for a few days. Tyler frowned. Why? Some parents are saying he's scaring the kids. We appreciate what he did, but things are calming down now. Tyler frowned. You're saying there's no threat. But what if the real problem didn't leave with Nurse Hale? Durbin's eyes tightened. Are you accusing someone else? I'm listening to my dog, Tyler said. He hasn't been wrong yet. Axel stayed with Tyler that evening, pacing the apartment like he used to after difficult cases. Not anxious alert. That's when Tyler revisited something from the notebook. A page with only initials. AS, marked beside certain notes from Nurse Hale's audio logs. Confirm dosage with AS. AS said skip Thursday. Possible visit from district. At the time, Tyler had assumed it was just shorthand or something random. But now AS could mean April Sullivan, the substitute nurse. Except April wasn't even hired until after Hale's arrest. Right? He checked the district database. And that's when the first twist hit. April Sullivan wasn't new to the district. She had worked at a sister school, Brook Meadow Intermediate, for 7 years. Quietly transferred last spring. No red flags in the file. But then Tyler called a contact at Brook Meadow, an old friend, Officer Chris Leone, who also handled AK-9 unit there. Yeah, I remember her, Chris said. Weird vibe. Loved giving out vitamins to kids all the time. Some parents raised concerns, but it got brushed under the rug. Any incidents reported? Tyler asked. None that made it into the files. Just whispers. You know how it goes. That night, Tyler sat staring at Axel. He lay at the foot of the bed, eyes locked on the front door, as if expecting someone to walk in. Did we just take down the wrong end of the rope? Tyler murmured. The next day, he brought Axel back to campus. He walked him casually. No one stopped them. They passed the main office. Axel was fine. Past the cafeteria. Fine. Past the nurse's station. And froze. April stood near the file cabinet. She didn't notice the pair right away. She was typing something into her personal tablet. Her back turned. Axel let out one low, guttural growl. April turned, startled. Oh, hi again. Axel didn't move. He didn't bark. He just growled steady, unwavering, as if trying to say, her. Tyler knew what he had to do. He contacted Agent Serena Mahoney. He laid out everything. The initials in the notebook. The transfer from Brook Meadow. The similarities in behavior. Axel's reaction. Why would she come back now? Serena asked. Either to cover up loose ends, or to finish what they started. They dug deeper, and what they found shocked them. April Sullivan had never been formally let go from Brook Meadow. Her file said, transferred upon request, but a separate, hidden memo from an internal HR investigation showed multiple staff had reported unusual student drowsiness. It happened following visits to Nurse Sullivan. No disciplinary action was ever taken. It was buried. That weekend, a quiet raid was organized. Not on April's apartment, but on a storage unit registered in her name. Under a P.O. box. Inside, boxes of supplies, labeled vials, more handwritten notes, and in a folder titled Behavioral Response Protocol, Meadow Ridge Phase 2. The implications were horrifying. This wasn't just a rogue nurse with a power complex. It was a system, a plan. Target vulnerable kids. Quiet them, monitor results, and perhaps report them to someone else. April Sullivan was arrested on a Sunday morning in a grocery store parking lot. Calm, silent. When asked why she continued the experiments, she smiled faintly and said, "Because I believed in the work." And Brianna was never supposed to be caught. That night, Tyler sat on the back steps of his apartment, Axel lying beside him, head on his lap. "You knew," Tyler said softly. "Before we did, before anyone did." Axel blinked once. In the distance, sirens echoed faintly. The dog didn't flinch. Subscribe to K9 Miracle Stories for the full journey. You'd think it would end there. 2 arrests, 2 women behind bars, dozens of files recovered, children safe, parents breathing sighs of relief. That should have been the final chapter. But Axel didn't think so, and Officer Tyler Greer had learned long ago. When Axel acted like something was wrong, it usually meant things were worse than anyone expected. The Monday after April Sullivan's arrest, the school board called an emergency meeting, not to inform parents of the full truth, but to minimize panic. They called it an isolated procedural lapse. Tyler, who was seated near the back of the auditorium, clenched his jaw. The superintendent droned on. "There is no evidence of broader misconduct," he said. "We are cooperating fully with investigators." But Tyler knew that wasn't true. He'd seen the documents from the storage unit. Maps, timelines, initials. And something even more disturbing, a reference to an off-site medical consultant. Name redacted. Organization, Camberwell Behavioral Solutions. He looked it up that night. No website, no public office, just a P.O. box in Colorado, and a disconnected phone line. And on the last page of the last file, a line of text scrawled in red ink. "Pilot programs only thrive when no one notices." Back at home, Axel kept pacing, not restless, but watchful, like a soldier who knows the war isn't over. Just paused. Tyler sat on the couch. He stared at the photos pinned to his wall. Hale Sullivan, the vials, the voice memos, the names of the children. He drew red thread between the links, just like they do in every detective movie. But this wasn't a movie. This was real. And the red threads didn't stop with the school nurses. They went up. He visited Agent Serena Mahoney the next day at the FBI field office in Raleigh. She didn't look surprised when he walked in, holding a folder. "I figured I'd see you soon," she said. "Axel still uneasy?" Tyler nodded. "And I think I know why." He laid out the files, especially the part about Camberwell Behavioral Solutions. Serena scanned them carefully. Her eyes narrowed. "I've seen this name before. Twice. Both times in cases related to unauthorized treatment of minors. One in Missouri, another in Idaho. But we never had enough to pin them. Always third-party subcontractors. Always redacted." She tapped the last page. "But this time, we have names." The FBI began cross-referencing records. They found something chilling. Brianna Hale had received 2 wire transfers from a shell company linked to Camberwell. So had April Sullivan. But both transfers were dated months before either woman began working at Meadow Ridge, meaning they weren't acting on their own. They were sent in. Meanwhile, Meadow Ridge Elementary tried to sweep things under the rug. They rebranded the nurse's office. New paint, new nurse, a new safety protocol banner with pastel letters and balloons. Tyler was asked again not to bring Axel onto school grounds. "He makes the kids anxious," the vice principal said. But Tyler ignored the request. Instead, he visited Addie Monroe and her mom at their home that weekend. She had been in therapy and was doing better. Smiling, sleeping. "Guess what?" she whispered, kneeling beside Axel. "I wrote a poem for him." She handed Tyler a page. Crayon scribbled, but beautiful. "He doesn't need words to say what's wrong. He hears our silence like a song. He barks for truth. He growls at lies. He saved my heart with loyal eyes. Tyler had to look away for a second. A week later, the FBI officially shut down Camberwell Behavioral Solutions. Dr. Lewin was still missing, but his empire had collapsed. But Tyler knew the work wasn't over. People still tried to hurt the most vulnerable, which meant Axel still had a job to do. That night, Tyler sat on the back steps of his home, Axel curled up beside him, the stars just blinking into view. He looked down at his partner. "You saved them," he said. "They'll never understand just how close they came to being forgotten." Axel thumped his tail once. Tyler smiled. "It's weird, isn't it? You don't speak, but somehow you're the one who told the whole story. Sometimes the ones who can't speak are the ones who see the most. Truth doesn't always come from the loudest voices, but from those who never give up until justice is done." If Axel hadn't barked, how long would it have taken before someone finally listened to the kids? And in your own life, are there things that need to be barked at before it's too late? If Axel hadn't barked that day, who knows how many more children would have suffered in silence? But the story isn't over yet. What if the conspiracy runs even deeper, crossing state lines and involving more powerful figures? Stay tuned to find out. Subscribe to K9 Miracle Stories for more heroic tales.